Hey, we're back in another episode of Radio News Radio, whatever the hell I'm still calling this show, or that we're still calling this show. It's me, your host, Ethan, and we got a bit of news here for you. A lot of it's TV shows, some of it's a bit scary, some of it is whatever news, but we compiled something. We'll give you something to look forward to, but a lot of this is movies and TV shows, and just a couple announcements there. Not as much gaming news, so if that is a deterrent for you, just letting you know ahead of time. But there is some gaming news. We're going to start off with some gaming news, and we'll work our way through, and I'll pepper in some gaming news here and there, and then pretty much end the episode with more gaming news for you. But let's get started with a really big one. This way it's easier for me to edit in all the photos that I got to, because believe it or not, I am technically a representative for all this sort of stuff, whether I like it or not. And it's not just self-appointed. That's literally why I was asked about this one. So let's kick things off with Mortal Kombat 1 and the Definitive Edition. That was revealed recently by Warner Brothers and NetherRealm Studios that there will be a Mortal Kombat 1 Definitive Edition. They pretty much day and day released it, so it should be out of the time of this recording. It should be out today or tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. Next Tuesday, I believe. One or the other. Today is the Friday, the 5th, May 16th. My bad. Oh my goodness. I'm not editing this out, but yeah, Mortal Kombat 1 Definitive Edition is coming, and this version is pretty much the decido facto, end-all, be-all. Pretty much all the content will be in this. It will include the Mortal Kombat 1, the game, with its feature-length campaign of Liu Kang restarting the timeline. You'll also have access to Mortal Kombat Combat Pack 1, which will include characters such as Quan Chi, Shang Tsung, Takeda, Ermac, and guest characters such as Peacemaker, Homelander, Omni-Man, Ghostface from Scream, the T-1000, and Conan the Barbarian, alongside also, I believe, Noob Saibot, Sector, and Cyrax, and a couple of their cameo characters in the mix. I'm not going to mix off all those characters. I'm pretty sure you all know that the cameos are just, kind of there. No word on whether or not it will include most of the skin packs, or if it will include the holiday fatalities. I guess you have to buy it to find out. It will also, I already kind of listed the characters that came with Combat Pack 2, but of course, Combat Pack 2 being T-1000, Conan the Barbarian, Ghostface, Noob Saibot, Sector, and Cyrax. It will also include the full feature-length DLC story Chaos Reigns, the story expansion pack that single-handedly is the reason why there will no longer be Mortal Kombat 1 support. They've even went out and said that after this game drops, there will be no more support for Mortal Kombat 1 outside of hotfixes and updates to patch a few things here and there as the game gets on. There is a tournament coming up soon with Combo Breaker and, of course, Evo right around the corner. So they said that they're not going to fix anything until after the major tournament. So expect to see an update. The Mortal Kombat 1 final update will probably hit us at the end of August or beginning of September. And then that's it. There is no more Mortal Kombat 1 content. There will no longer be any more DLC characters, expansion packs of stories or characters or cameo fighters or skin packs, none of that shit. This is after the tanked sales of Chaos Reigns story DLC failing to meet expectations, and the immediate DLCs going on sale and still failing to hit the top 20 charts when it came to both PlayStation Network and the Xbox Microsoft storefront, and of course Steam sales charts were actually shows you the numbers, and the numbers are abysmal, and it was really, really sad for them. Yeah, before we get into my opinions on this one, and this one's definitely eating up time, but I can definitely go 10 minutes, so if you're seeing this at the 10-minute mark, go ahead and jump ahead. I'm going to be a while here. If you do pre-order this, you also, if you do pre-order Mortal Kombat 1, they're trying to entice people with access to two things. Number one, you'll get access to a Bruce Lee-inspired Liu Kang skin in the yellow Enter the Dragon's Bruce Lee skin from, when in the classic yellow jumper with the black lining on the shorts. They're not even hiding the fact that Liu Kang has always been and always will be a Bruce Lee clone. They are also enticing you that there's new movie skins will be available. The Mortal Kombat 2 movie, which is scheduled to release this October. The skins will include Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Kitana, King Shao Kahn, or whatever the hell his name is in the newest Mortal Kombat 1, and Johnny Cage, of course. Scorpion, Sub-Zero being, duh, was always going to happen. But I'm curious to see what Johnny Cage will look like as a Carl Urban, that is who is playing him in the new Mortal Kombat movie that's scheduled to come out this October. That's an enticing cute little get, but if you've already played Mortal Kombat 1 and you've played enough of this shit and you've already put in money, you can actually just spend $15 and get all those skins anyway, so there's really no point into buying the Mortal Kombat 1 Definitive Edition. The bad news continues to strike Mortal Kombat 1 in its ass cheeks, because they're not even going to be making a physical version of this game. There will not be a physical definitive edition for any collectors or for purposes of people that have almost always bought these collector's edition. I have bought myself, have a copy of Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, which is the version that comes with all DLC characters, including Combat Pack 1, 2, 3, and the story mode DLC that had I'm blanking on the name of it. I think it was like In Under Time or something. But needless to say, Mortal Kombat 1 has not had it's had a rough life cycle. It came out in September of 2023, and it's pretty much dead. It has been dead for the last year. Nobody's been really playing this game. It hasn't really been charting all that much. Every DLC character makes me, cringe at the fact that they're being put into a game that favors aerial combat, and for the vast majority of fighting game fans around the globe, everybody is pretty much synonymous when it comes to this game. They don't like it. It ain't fun, and the casual marketplace is also not meshing with the game. They did not mesh with it on day one. It did sell relatively well when it did come out in September of 2023, but sales started to plummet, player count started to drop, and it's just been a slow declining line ever since. And, well, the Chaos Reigns story DLC expansion pack has proven that point. Even the YouTubers that pretty much cover nothing but Mortal Kombat have pivoted towards other topics, and I don't even see them anymore. I think the only person still doing it is Dynasty. Shout out to Dynasty. I talked to him one time years ago in a direct message over when Twitter was still called Twitter, or X was called Twitter, and I asked him about Mortal Kombat XL and the pre-order being the skin pack for Mortal Kombat XL. If you pre-ordered XL or the XL expansion, you would get access to skins for Cassie and Jaquiqua, or Jackie, and they were cosplaying Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and at the time you had to pre-order to play those. Now you can actually just download them for free. Ain't that wonderful? But yes, I had sent him a message on that. Anyways, a little weird lore for the page here. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 1 has not been not a great game. A majority of the people that I talk to are pretty much excited that it's dead. I know it sounds really sad to be, plotting the demise of something that, we used to all love in terms of, like, the franchise, but it really has not been a great game. Nobody's really playing it, and we're excited to, maybe play a new Mortal Kombat that's a little bit better, that nibs in the bud all the problems that we experienced with Mortal Kombat 1. It's really sad that the Steam player count for it is really low, yet Mortal Kombat 11 is still chugging along, and that seems to be the one that everybody plays. It's either Mortal Kombat 11 or Mortal Kombat X, but both have more player counts than the newest Mortal Kombat 1. That makes sense. Anyways, that's enough for Mortal Kombat. I said I would only go to the 10-minute mark. Hey, welcome to the 10-minute mark. If you're joining us from, skipping ahead because you hate listening to me talk about fighting games, welcome. Here's some new news for you. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre game will no longer be supported as the team has run out of funds to continue working on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. Now, this is not something that we bode well for studios, but this continues to prove my point that 1v5 or upscale multiplayer uphill battle simulator things do not do well. They die very fast. And they only peaked at 1,677 players in April. Yikes. That's insane. So, for those that are not familiar with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, yes, it is one of those multiplayer-only, online-only games where you play as a killer, you play as somebody from the Sawyer family, you either play as the legendary Leatherface himself, or you play as the cousin or the father, and then a few other characters were added here and there. But they only added 3 different killers, a couple more survivors, and 2 more maps to a game that already had 3. Thus, the map count is only at a staggering 5. Yikes. Yeah, this game's been out since August of 2023, just like Mortal Kombat here. It's dying, and, most times when asymmetrical multiplayer horror or more multiplayer games that are asymmetrical like this, when the funding and the support for it usually goes, the game no longer stays up, and it's pretty much counting down the days before the servers and the activity and the everything for it and sales and before it gets delisted, because again, having an IP as big as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for a small studio is not exactly ideal in terms of being able to pay for it. They make their money quick. They get in, they get out, and they delete it. This isn't the first time that we've covered on News Radio an asymmetrical multiplayer game being canned and then delisted and then turned off. This is the first step. They're losing support, and then soon after, they're going to delist it, and then relatively soon after that, that's when the servers go. So, stop buying asymmetrical multiplayer games, people. This happened with the Friday the 13th game. We covered this with the Evil Dead game, and it is happening right now for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. And it won't be long before Dead by Daylight seals the same fate. Folks, if you love these games, I understand that it can be enticing to sometimes play these asymmetrical multiplayer games, but they go, and they only have a bit of a shelf life of less than 2 years. It's not worth it. It's not worth your money. The skins in the game are not worth it. The content that they dribble out in the course of 2 years is just not worth it. Stop buying this stuff. Stop letting them use licenses for these sort of games, because, let's face it, they make all their money on the first month, and then they slowly dribble, and then they peace out. Each and every time. It's happened 3 times now. With 3 different developers with 3 different IPs. Stop doing this to yourselves. Luckily, the Alien franchise never did this, but I think the Predator did with Predator Hunting Ground? Was it? Jesus Christ, we got 4 examples here. Please stop buying asymmetrical games. There's another example for you. Oh my god, the Turtle Rock game that came out, the one where you hunt, Evolve, the game where you hunt the monsters or some shit, and you could be a big monster or something. That game failed too. It's dead and gone. See? Stop buying asymmetric multiplayer games. That way, companies that won't waste their money on licenses to build shit games like this, and instead will actually make a good game. I would love to have played a great Texas Chainsaw Massacre horror game in the same vein of something like Resident Evil 7 or Alien Isolation, but instead we got a multiplayer piece of shit that is, now gone, and will be delisted shortly, and we'll be covering it when that inevitably happens. Folks, I try not to have too much bad news on these things, but this one's a little bit of a bummer. There's some good news here, some bad news. Some good news if you're excited for certain things, some bad news if you weren't expecting some of these things. But it seems that the BioShock director says, we're in a pretty good place now. when it comes to BioShock coming to Netflix as a TV show or a TV movie adaptation. First it was a TV show, now it's a movie. It's really all up in the air. But director Francis Lawrence has recently told IGN that, hold on one second for you here, folks. The director of Logan, the great Wolverine movie, if you recall that, and Blade Runner 2049, which I didn't like. He recently has a bunch of earlier drafts of the BioShock screenplay. It says that the draft is in and that Netflix likes it. So it's not too far along, but it's getting somewhere. He says it's a tricky adaptation, so there's a lot of things to figure out and to get right. One said there's a regime of changes at Netflix, and so things stall out and get re-energized and stall out and then get re-energized again. And I think we're in a pretty good place, honestly. So what it sounds like to me is that he's got a good draft, he's got a good script going, and the people over at Netflix, even though they're having a bit of a shake-up over at Netflix, apparently, they are still on board to produce a BioShock TV show or movie. Now, I'm not too sure how this is going to work in a movie format. The only way you can do a movie format if you don't focus on any of the side caricatures that you encounter in BioShock. This is assuming that they are doing BioShock 1 with Jack and the plane and the would you kindly, and if you know, you know. But if they really want to flesh this out really well, go the TV route. Treat it like side content, side quests. Do it like what Mandalorian did with the first season. And just focus on the world of Rapture. I want to see Rapture. I want to see splicers. I want to see people, succumbing to their illness and just kind of fucking getting all fucked up on splicing. I want to see the connection between big daddies and little sisters. I want to see the grotesque underbelly of what Rapture has to offer. Don't just beeline it through the fucking story and do the whole, Adams and main character and being controlled and Andrew Ryan and the spoilers if you fucking haven't played this 15, 20-year-old game now at this point, but the big twist, that can work really well if you flesh it out in a TV form. If you do it in a movie, expect them to beeline it to the end. First season could easily drag out and do that. And especially if we have a chance to do a TV show, then that gives this a chance for them to really, dive deep into some of the side characters, especially like the fucked up doctor, freezing people and taking out their plasma so he can suck the spliced geno from their veins and shit. That's messed up. That would be a really cool horror episode, Lean into the horror aspect of BioShock. If you're gonna do this right, please do it right. Speaking of TV shows, though, it looks like Netflix is also running wrong. Whoever is this new guy that they're shaping up or is shaking up Netflix and doing that, he seems very keen, or whoever the team is, right? There's definitely somebody. I'm not going to attribute to one person. There's definitely some people there at Netflix. But whoever the new team at Netflix is, they seem really keen to push forward with the video game adaptations. This might be due to the fact that The Last of Us, well, at least the first season, did really well. The Mario movie made a lot. The Minecraft movie made a lot. So you're seeing TV shows and people sitting on IPs, and they're starting to go, hey, we've got something, let's fucking make something. And hopefully they make something good, and they don't beeline it to the finish line, because then you have a rush product and you don't get good stuff. But speaking of which, it looks like the director of Fall Guys is reportedly in talks with Netflix to work on a Gears of War movie. Not a TV show. This one's confirmed to be a movie. It's going to... now, they're still in talks with it, but they are still eyeballing who's been attached to play this character for forever. Batista himself wants to play the titular character of Marcus Phoenix, leading Delta Squad to fight the Locust. How do you feel about that? Do you think Batista's a little too old to be playing Marcus? Marcus is, at the time of E-Day, in his 20s, and at the time of Gears of War, I want to say 32 or 34 years old at the beginning of the emergence for Gears of War. That depends on when they go to do Gears of War. There's a lot they can do with Gears of War. They can easily be like, hey, did you play 1 through 3? And, seeing the events that drawn out between the events of 3 and 4, because 3 and 4 has a major time gap. Anya dies off screen. Marcus has JD with her, and JD grows up, and you could easily do that. The only downside to that is that there are no locusts, and the swarm hasn't come back. So that would be really boring. Now that I think about it, that's fucking boring. Don't do that. In my humble opinions, I love Dave Bautista. I know a lot of people do, but I think he's too old for the role. I don't think he's going to be Marcus Phoenix. I think he's aged out of playing Marcus Phoenix. He's been talking about this for 10 years. Since Ultimate Gears of War came out in 2015, he's been talking about wanting to be Marcus Phoenix for years. And I think if they had gone forward within that year or two, he would have worked really well with it, and they could have easily done a trilogy. But I think he's aged out. Now, does that mean that Dave can't be another Gear? Absolutely. I think there's tons of different roles for Dave to play as, but anyone from Delta Squad, they're too young. He's too old. First off, he's not black, so he can't be Cole. He's not blonde, so he can't be Baird. And he's not Hispanic, so he can't be Dominic. So that really just leaves Marcus. And, he can't be Marcus, so... what would be really cool is they age him up a bit and have him play Colonel Hoffman. Or even Prescott, maybe. Who knows? Is this all jargon to you? If you don't know what I'm talking about with Gears of War, you probably skipped ahead, haven't you, you little slut? Nah, I'm kidding. It's all good. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about Gears of War. Do you think that there's going to do it? Do you think this is just another cannon fodder that they're doing over at Netflix? Or do you think they're finally going to move forward with making some of this content? Let me know down below. Speaking of content, though, we've got a ton of trailers. We're going to zoom past this part here because we were unable to basically talk about it. I know we talked in the last episode that a Superman trailer was coming on Wednesday, and sure enough, there it was. It came out, and it showed a lot. It showed a lot. It definitely showed that there's going to be more of a dynamic between Clark Kent and Lois Lane. I saw a lot of people complaining online about them, getting into a dispute and talking the way he was talking to her and her to him, and the way they were kind of going at each other. So let me clarify. The rest of it's all positive. Everybody seems to like the fact that Ultraman showed up for a bit there. You could see him in the costume. You can also see this big robot attacking him, the Hammer attacking him. Also seeing, Guy Gardner just basically abuse the hell out of his Green Lantern ring and just swatting away people because he just doesn't care. Seeing more of Mr. Terrific and, a little more of Crypto the dog fighting the engineer. The stuff looks great. I think that it looks amazing. I'm excited for it. I love the score. I love everything about it. But let's talk more about that, the Lois Lane and Clark Kent and they're arguing and stuff like that. First and foremost, if you have not read All-Star Superman, I say to you, go ahead, go to your local shop, pick it up. It's almost always there. It's always going to be a big graphic novel book, and with the movie coming out, they're going to have stock. Go to Barnes and Nobles too if you need to. It's there. I was there not recently and I saw it. They had an abundance of it. So they're trying to get people to read it. Read that, and you know that Clark will do just about anything to what he thinks is right, and even if it means getting sick, and he gets sick in that comic. That's the whole purpose of that storyline. Now, will he get sick in this movie? No, he won't. I don't think so. But it is loosely based off of All-Star Superman, and you can really see a bit of what James Gunn is going for if you read that book. But as for the arguing and stuff like that, you need to take into consideration, one, this is his first year or so of Superman doing Superman things. he's always going to do what he thinks is right, even if it comes at the cost of, being on shaky grounds with two different countries. He doesn't represent the United States. He is just doing what he thinks is right. He doesn't care about all that stuff, and he has to come to the realization that even though he might not care, he still represents a country because that's where he hails from. So he has to balance that, what he wants to do versus what the world might think in the process. And then meanwhile, she's a Pulitzer-winning journalist, and she asks the tough questions. That's her whole deal. That's Lois Lane to a T. I think she's done a great job. I think the fact that they're getting into a bit of an argument, even though the two of them know each other through and through, and even though he's aware, yes, she asked the tough questions. She's a tough cookie to crack. She also knows that he's Superman. She knows this already at this point. We've already jumped ahead. That Lois Lane knows that Clark is Kal-El, aka Superman. So, and them being that close and that intimate and being able to talk to one another and also be in that situation where she's going to literally interview him and turn off Lois Lane, girlfriend to Lois Lane reporter. Yeah, they're going to have arguments and stuff like that, and newsflash to a lot of people, but that's relationships in general. You sometimes have arguments with your significant other, and it's not always pretty, and that's just the movie format, but you know what? That's sometimes what makes couples even more stronger as they are. So whether you like it or not, that's going to be in the movie, and I don't see why people are complaining about it. So get out of your caves, go read some of the comics, and look into some of the arguments and stuff like that. And while you're at it, look up Superman and Lois, the TV show. Damn, those two fight a lot in that TV show. Like a lot. Like, you think the new James Gunn movie is bad, then you should see that. He throws a table to prove a point. She's like, "What are you going to do? You're going to hit me?" And it's like, if he did, it's not going to end well. But yeah, no, she's always challenging him because she knows damn well, no matter how tough Superman can think he is to the rest of the world, he'll never do anything to her. And also the fact that, she's usually right. It's women in general. I don't know. It's an allegory for something. Hey, speaking of women, Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, is back, but she ain't back. Sarah Michelle Gellar is no longer going to be playing the titular Slayer herself. She's been replaced by a 15-year-old. That's right, a 15-year-old girl has secured the role of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I guess they're going for a young Buffy situation before Buffy is in high school, or technically, wait a fucking minute. What age is 16 years old? Oh my god. Well, nevertheless, you creepy people, there's a new Vampire Slayer, and her name is Buffy. She is going to be a sequel series with starring Ryan Kira Armstrong. The 15-year-old Armstrong's credits include, but aren't limited to, the 2022 reboot of Firestarter. She was also in It Chapter 2 as one of the little kids that gets nabbed at the very beginning. And she was in the Star Wars series Skeleton Crew, which I think she's pretty good in that thing. She was a bit of a know-it-all, nosy little brat, though. Which, that's not Buffy. But who knows? We'll see if she can play the character. I'll have a photo of her up there now, and you can check for yourself. I heard there's been several times where Buffy has been recast or somebody's going to do that, but this one looks like it's legit. They're literally moving forward with this, and it is going to be for Hulu. So if you have Hulu, check it out when it hits Hulu. Who knows when? It's not exactly in production just yet, but it is official that she will be playing the titular character. I wonder how fans feel about this. There's still a chance for Sarah Michelle Gellar to come back. In my ideal situation, I would like to see Buffy have her kid with Angel, and this is their kid, and she's growing up, and it's because she comes from royal blood. So she's the new, Vampire Slayer. I'd like that route, please. Don't remove Sarah Michelle Gellar, please. For the love of God. Anyways, she will be, if she is the new Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? She'll be the third person to play, because there was the movie with a different actress, and then Sarah Michelle Gellar took over for the TV show. And let's face it, she's synonymous. And that's who we always think of as Buffy, right? Let me know if you care about Buffy. Am I just an oldling little fucking weirdo that talks about Buffy still? I don't know. We'll talk about that. Talking about changes, though, is really hard. And sometimes it is hard for me to come up with segues. And that's why I am stalling for time while I tell you about the next story here. Their next story is HBO Max, or is it Max? Is it HBO Max? Is it Max? Is it HBO? Is it DC Universe? What is it? What is it called? Well, not even HBO knows, because apparently, after changing from the DC Universe Online to HBO Max to just Max, it seems the company is not happy with their naming, because they are going back to HBO Max. It is no longer called Max. I guess after the name change and changing it back to just simply Max, the company realized that everyone just kept calling it HBO Max. Is this confusing to you still? I know it's confusing me right now. Anyways, it's now officially going to be called HBO Max, changing from Max to HBO Max, because everybody called it HBO Max still, even when they changed it to simply just Max. Okay. That makes no fucking sense. That's supposed to be the Warner Bros. I would have called it WB Max. But whatever. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anymore. They don't seem to know what they're doing. The streaming name disaster was joked in a promo for season 2 of Peacemaker, where John Cena's Peacemaker, full on in his new costume and his new helmet, takes out several different pieces of papers and proceeds to rip one after the other with the different naming things there. So congratulations for HBO Max to figuring their shit out, I guess. Whatever. The new look is it says they're gonna fuck around with the colors or something. I don't care. It's just purple, so whatever. Hey, speaking of new looks, Nintendo has unveiled its new Diddy Kong look. Now, Diddy Kong has pretty much had the same old little t-shirt, 2 stars, and the hat that's the wide-brimmed hat that says Nintendo on it, or DK, depending on what game you're playing. Well, he's got a new redesign here, and, he's got a basketball shirt on. I will throw up the photo now. There he is. What the fuck? Okay, so this is the design that was ripped from the Super Mario movie in a quick flash during the fight in DK's country world. Mario takes on Donkey Kong, and when they flash panel past, this was the design for DK, or Diddy Kong Jr. Now, I know there's a little bit of resistance from Nintendo. They're trying not to address Diddy Kong and his name due to the stories and all the stuff going on with Sean Diddy Combs. So they're calling him DK Jr. They've been that was originally his name, but the Diddy stuck from Super Smash Brothers Brawl on the Wii. Yeah. And he's just been called Diddy Kong since then. We all call him that. The games call him that. Anyways, they're adding teeth. They added him in basketball shirt. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, this is just the Super Mario Bros. Movie version of him. Why would this be considered? Well, the Super Mario Brothers version of Donkey Kong was actually the same ripped animation and style that was going to be featured in which is featured in the new Donkey Kong Bonanza. So it's pretty much a given at this point that some of the creators came forward and said, yes, both Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. will be ripped from the Super Mario Brothers movie. So that is our new Donkey Kong. Or Diddy Kong. Oh my God, Diddy Kong DK Jr. He will be rocking a basketball shirt now. So if you don't like it, too bad. Tough. His little frumpy little belly is gone. I miss his frumpy little belly. That was kind of the whole deal. He's a little fat kid, Shout out to all our little fat kids, okay? You know who you are. You're fat right now. You're driving to work. I see you. Hey, speaking of getting fat and looking and getting a little bit bad, getting some bad jujus, watch me butcher all these words here in a second. Now, this is a little bit out of our wheelhouse normally when it comes to news radio, but I figured I'd talk about it because it is synonymous with gamers, right? Y'all drinking energy drinks, you sickos. Yeah, well, guess what? You might want to stop doing that. The common energy drink ingredient is now linked to blood cancer. That's right. A common energy drink ingredient has been linked to the progression of the blood cancer leukemia, prompting researchers to voice concerns about the consumption of the beverage. Taurine, Taurine, an amino acid that occurs naturally in proteins like meat and fish, is a common ingredient in energy drinks like Monster, Red Bull, Rockstar, and so forth. As the Mayo Clinic explains, it can help balance fluids, salts, and minerals. However, according to research published in the Nature, taurine may promote leukemia monogenesis, the development of leukemia cells, and identify taurine as a key regulator of myeloid malgenesis. What the fuck? Which, like leukemia, are cancers that begin in the blood. The study says cancer cells in mice are fueled by taurine. So basically, you're basically hot wiring your blood with a known cancer product, really. At this point, it's disease. And they said that they've already tested the mouses with shots of energy drink, 5-Hour Energy, Monster Energy, Red Bull, Rockstar, and something called... I zoomed past it. Oh well. A lot of the energy drinks. That's all you need to know. Don't drink them. They're bad for you. I've always been saying, hey, drinking battery acid is bad for you. I know this isn't normally a topic I talk about, but I know a handful of you selectively still do this. So hopefully this does make you put down the drink, or maybe this will make you pick up the drink and say, hopefully I die sooner. It depends on your view and your mindset. But please don't drink these. We want you to stick around for more news and news radio. Speaking of sticking around, though, how about you stick around and give us some like and some love and some attention. Send a like on this video and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And share this with a friend, because hopefully they too will learn something new about the news and some video games, movies, and pop culture, and also maybe kick the habit of drinking energy drinks. But we're on to a new kick here, and this one kind of irks me a bit. I'm a little annoyed by this one. I should be happy, or I should be kind of hopeful, but it's just not looking good, man. So we're getting a First Blood prequel, but it ain't gonna star our titular John Rambo himself. No. Well, yes, actually, hold on. Scratch that. It's going to be a John Rambo origin story before the events of First Blood. So technically, the only thing they can do is, he was sent to Vietnam and watch all the disturbed, fucked up shit that happened to him. But yeah, no, original star and co-writer Sylvester Stallone himself will not be returning. For the first time ever, he will no longer be playing John Rambo, aka Rambo from First Blood 2, Rambo 3, Rambo, and Rambo Last Blood. After 5 films, it looks like Sylvester will be putting up the combat knife, and the legacy will go on to somebody else. Who will play the new Rambo? Still don't know. They don't have a name for us, but they are moving forward with a John Rambo sequel, simply titled, hold on one second here, The origin story will follow a young Rambo during the Vietnam War. There you go, no shit. The aim is to start principal photography in October in Thailand. Producers on the project are Kevin King Templeton on behalf of the Templeton Media, Les Weldon, Jonathan Uger, Avi Liren, and executive producers include Trevor Short and Bonfire legends Dallas Sonier and Amanda Prisimic. They want to call it John Rambo. That's the name they're running with. I'm not too pleased with this, and apparently neither is Sylvester Stallone. I figured he wouldn't be, given the fact that he did not approve of the fact that they basically sidelined Rocky in Creed 3, and he had some creative differences with one of the creators that still holds a majority of that IP's legacy. I feel really bad for Sylvester Stallone. His two biggest, if not his best, roles being Rocky and Rambo, the two R's of the world. He is, he's lost his creative control over these characters that he's pretty much written for what most of his career. He's been in other projects, of course. Rocky and Rambo are not his only, claims to fame. Sylvester Stallone is not too bad. I like him in the Tulsa King as of late. He's pretty good gangster. I've liked that. There's a few other projects with Sylvester that I've really liked, but I feel bad for him. I really wish he had done the same thing that Harrison Ford did when it came to the likes of Indiana Jones, where he's basically like, no, I'm playing this character till I'm dead. Then you can do whatever you want after the fact. And he has, final submission and it's okay stuff. And that is the thing, is that things like the 90s TV show Young Indy wouldn't have ever come to fruition had they just not gone over to Harrison Ford and basically told him, here's the deal, here's what's going to happen, do you okay this? And then he says, yes, let's do it, right? I think Sylvester Stallone wants to be a part of the process. I think there is still a story there to tell about John Rambo, bright-eyed and bushy and ready to go into the war, and then coming back out all fucked up. What happened? Maybe this would be cool to do that and also focus more on some of the messed up shit that soldiers have to go through and actually, seeing it. Because people need vulgar, they need to see all that shit instead of just being told it. Like the first Rambo movie. The first Rambo movie was great and shined a light on that in a really respectable way. But now, unfortunately, the youth of today don't have respect, so they need to see violence in order to really understand what's going on. I think if they had just brought Sylvester Stallone on board for the creation of this new film, he would have been all for it, because he wants to tell good stories, whether he's the one doing it or not. He's got a few writing creds that are to his name, so look up Sylvester Stallone when you get the chance, because I'm sure there are some films that you've actually really enjoyed, outside of, the usual. But, there's still time for him to be on board. I hope they can settle their differences. I know they settled their differences for Rocky when it came to Creed 1 and 2, but then they sidelined him and they pushed him out pretty quickly. So hopefully they can find some common ground, and Sylvester Stallone can make one last Rocky film, because he's getting up there in age. Oh, sorry, not Rocky film, but a Rambo film. But he is getting up there in age, and I want to see him, contribute more to some of the legacy characters that have really shaped him into the actor and the person that we all know today. Hey, speaking of shaping shit, this is shaping up to be a really bizarre story for you guys, but I think recently we did talk about this in one of the previous episodes. But the Tekken director Harada has wanted this for so long. He's been talking about it because he's only talking about it because the fans keep talking about it. What started off as a meme and as a joke has now quickly escalated even further, and the saga continues because apparently the director of the popular fighting game franchise Tekken, with Tekken 8, Harada-san, wants to include Waffle House as a stage in the game, but the Georgia chain does not seem to be responding to himself outside of a few likes here and there. Now, he says to fans who keep asking for the stage, don't worry, I'm still trying. He's still actively trying, and he's not making it up, because you can check his Twitter account, and you can see that Harada weekly is tagging whenever he promotes anything. As of late, he keeps tagging Waffle House in all of his posts, and he has also done direct messages asking Waffle House, let's talk. So the ball is in your court, Georgia. Please let this happen. It's funny. Now, never say never. I have a feeling that it's probably never going to happen. But if it does happen, hilarious. The internet wins. And it wouldn't be the first time the internet has won. We did bully Paramount into making Sonic look a lot better way back. Feels like just yesterday. But will a chain restaurant like Waffle House actually respond? Who knows? I'm going to be honest here. If I'm going to play devil's advocate and be, the executive businessman here for a change, I don't think that anyone at Waffle House really wants their brand to continue to be labeled as this place where ratchet people go to fight each other every once in a while. And I don't think being attached to a mega popular 3D fighting game around the entire world is a good idea and or look for their brand. But who knows? Maybe they have an executive or some sort of person there that understands this shit a little bit better. Me personally, if I worked at Waffle House as like an executive and I had to say, I'd let it happen because A, I love fighting games, and B, any publicity is good publicity, especially for a random ass thing like that. I mean, let's face it, they're all over the South, but they're not all over the world, and they're not all over America. You could have a bunch of people start coming out of the woodwork, a bunch of random people go there, and you could do cross promotions with Tekken as well. Hey, look at this, we got the Tekken pancakes or some shit, and it's just fucking pancakes, but they staple up, they stamp it with like a iron imprint of the Iron Fist logo or the fucking an 8. Who knows? Shit's easy, but stupid people will come and eat it there. Anyways, I don't think it's gonna happen though, because I don't think they want their brand to constantly be labeled as that place to go fight each other. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. Hey, we're getting down to the last of it here. I know this has been a long video, but I ranted about a bunch of stuff. So we will speedrun some of this other stuff, because one of those things, this next one I'm about to talk to, I could care less, and it sounds really retarded. But February 18th, Avowed, the game that came out on the Xbox Series X and S and PC as a Game Pass exclusive from BDS pulls back the curtains on its plans for Avowed for the next 2025. They have a roadmap, which will include a bunch of improvements and content. This summer, Obsidian will release an update that features cooking and crafting improvements, new NPC abilities and behaviors, additional active and passive abilities, more unique weapons and armor, and custom map markers. Then, this fall, an update will bring to Avow a highly requested New Game Plus mode. Only took them a year. A photo mode that nobody uses. And a new weapon type, the ability to change your appearance in the wild, new character presets, and more godlike feature presets. We want to take a moment, they said in quote, "We want to take a moment to thank you for your continued reports, feedback, and suggestions." A blog post from Obsidian reads, "Your insights help shape Avowed, and we're incredibly grateful for the time you've taken to share your experiences with us. We can't wait to show you what's next." The new spring update that is out today will also, at the time of this recording, will include an arachnophobia mode, which will stop arachnids and other spiders and massive spiders that are enemies in prominent caves from appearing and causing people that have arachnophobia the chance to grow the fuck up. Map exploration enhancements. Critter loot drops, new party camp features, improved soul pod functionality, and new setting option. No fucking DLC. What the fuck's the point of this shit? I didn't play this. I don't care. I don't usually play Skyrim, Elder Scrolls or clones. I'm not really big into the fantasy genre. I can muster playing Fable at most. I really just don't give a rat's ass about that stuff. The only thing, and I'm a bit of a hypocrite, I'll admit, the only thing that I care about in the fantasy realm is Harry Potter. Then I put up blinders, and I just don't care about any of that other stuff because it's kind of goofy. I always looked at it as cringe. But you know what? A lot of you do love this stuff, so I figured I would put some half effort into reading off all that new stuff. But if you're afraid of spiders, congratulations. You can be a pussy again. So you're welcome. Hey, speaking of about being a little bitch, I love these segues today. Bungie admits to lifting art for marathon without credit. What? Hey, you remember that thing you got in trouble for in school? Guess what? It doesn't matter in the real world, okay? So Bungie is on the coals this morning or afternoon or whatever the hell. So apparently some of the artwork that was shown, an overwhelming amount of the designs are eerily similar to other artists. Yes, that's right. They stole the art and plastered it all over the game. Not only in the game during the open alpha tests that ran a couple weeks ago, but also during the open trailer and live announcement when Bungie came in there. It's really, really, really sad to see how far Bungie has fallen since their days of making Halo and then piecing out and then making Destiny. I stopped playing Bungie games after Halo Reach. I didn't play any game they made after that. I didn't follow the team because I knew that when I looked into them, half the team that was the team that actually did the good stuff that I enjoy from Halo moved to 343 Industries and worked on Halo 4. Meanwhile, Bungie went on to make Destiny, and well, I don't care for Destiny. I know a vast majority of you do, though, however, but it is really sad to see that now after their days of making Destiny, they're going back to their roots to try and do a rebrand of Marathon. An old 1996 PC game is now becoming a looter shooter extraction shooter. And surprise, surprise, they're cutting corners and using other people's art without permission in the trailer and in the game itself. And they're also going as far as to actually using AI artwork hidden throughout the game, including the floorboards, which will have artwork that says caution or numbers prolific to the area in which they're in, will be all AI generated. My goodness. How do y'all feel about that? I don't know what to make of Bungie anymore. I stopped caring. They used to be such a big company, and now they're just like, peanuts in comparison. I think we give them so much faith on their name alone that we tend to forget that the people that work there aren't the same that used to make all the amazing stuff that we do like. Gone but not forgotten. Shout out to Halo 1, 2, 3, 3D ODST, and Reach, I guess. Yeah. You want to give shout out to Halo Wars? You can do that. You're the one person that did. Look at you. You probably said Halo Wars before I said it. And you're in your damn car. You're on your way to work, or you're getting dressed, and you're like, Halo Wars. Is he going to say Halo Wars? Are you going to say Halo Spartan Ops Assault? Fuck you. You didn't know what I was going to say, so shut up. I'm fighting my demons right now. I want to say speaking of fighting demons, but I guess speaking of fighting, Nintendo Switch Online, finally some good Nintendo Switch news after bashing Nintendo for so long. Holy shit, this one's gonna be an hour, people. It looks like Killer Instinct is coming. Killer Instinct 64 Gold. Should we do that in the Killer Instinct voice? Should I hurt your eardrums? I'm not gonna. You were paused. Some of you lowered your volume. That's funny to me. Now Killer Instinct is coming to the Nintendo Switch Online library. If you have the N64, the expansion pack, and you're a subscriber of that Nintendo Treehouse expansion pack, you can play Rare's ultimate version of Killer Instinct 2, essentially, on the Nintendo 64's version on Switch. Killer Instinct's great. I'm glad that Rare and Microsoft and Nintendo are in such great speaking terms that stuff like this can happen. Hopefully, we can see them continue to work with other Rare properties, and we can see maybe Banjo-Kazooie come back. But it's great to see that a fighting game that is as old as Killer Instinct still has some sort of limelight. I love Killer Instinct. I would love to see more or a new Killer Instinct. That is about it for today. We almost went a whole hour, but I do have one last story that popped across my desk before I started filming. I swear it's the last one here. But it looks like pre-orders are out now for Silent Hill F. Is getting a Grizzly Steelbook, but it's only releasing in the UK, so shout out to our UK brethren. Hopefully one of you can secure one of these for me, because oh my god, does it ever look cool. The Steelbook has the main character, whose name we still don't know, by the way. Her face is all distorted and has all this, like, grunge and the otherworldly stuff, and it's hollowed out, and it's got, like, holes. Oh, it looks sick. Well, I'll throw a photo up here for you, but check that out. That looks sick. I'm excited for this game. It's currently available to pre-order on the PS5 and Xbox Series X, not Series S, for £69.99, and that's a US, I don't know the conversion rate for that. I think that's just going to be $79.99, if I'm not mistaken. But that'll do it for today. Also, hold on, before we get started. It shows that the release date is December 31st. Don't. I know you're all going to say, oh my god, it's been announced. No, it's not. That is called a placeholder, and that basically means we will change that if it does get announced that it is coming out this year. If not, it will, once December 31st comes around, that date will revert straight away again to December 31st, but 2026. Now, will Silent Hill F come out this year? I don't know. I don't believe it will, but if it does, that's awesome. We'll see when Summer Game Fest happens in June, and you'll be sure that June and July, I think beginning of July, end of June, beginning of July, when Game Fest happens, we'll be sure to cover as much as humanly possible. But that's it for today. I know this has been an hour, but you know what? Maybe this might be the new format moving forward, is just me dragging out an hour. I won't. I'm just joking. This one just went on, and I babbled a bunch. But I hope you had a great one. I hope you enjoyed what you listened to. If you didn't enjoy what you listened to, I thank you this much for listening this far. And have a great day. Stay safe. Get to work safe. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your week. And hopefully this weekend, or whenever this video goes out, you have a good one. But thanks a bunch. Like, subscribe. You know the drill. And we will see you in the next episode. Peace.